The Central Intelligence Agency, also called the CIA, is the most important civilian intelligence agency in the United States. Its main function is to collect, process and analyze national security information from around the world. Its main activities are concentrated in collecting information about foreign governments, corporations or institutions of interest and individuals, analyze that information together with the other data collected by its counterpart agencies, and provide an assessment on intelligence for national security, so that the United States can correctly focus its policies. It is also responsible for conducting or supervising covert activities and other tactical operations. The performers of these activities may be members of the agency, the United States military, or other government or private partners. The agency has considerable influence on foreign policy decisions through its tactical divisions, such as the Activities Division Specials. According to the purposes of the CIA known in 2013, since it is the last known official declassified record, its priorities are: in the first place, counterterrorism. This is the highest priority and is part of the so-called global war on terrorism by the United States. Second, prevent the proliferation of nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction in new countries. Third, protect America's leaders abroad. In fifth place, counterintelligence, having China, Russia, Iran, Cuba and North Korea as its priority objectives. And last priority issue, cybernetic intelligence. The CIA. It is an agency that depends on the National Intelligence Directorate and this in turn on the President. Its fundamental structure has 5 directorates. Firstly, the Analysis Department, responsible for all investigative and analytical intelligence. Secondly, the Directorate of Operations, is dedicated to clandestine intelligence gathering in covert actions. Thirdly, the Support Directory is in charge of security, maintenance, systems, communications, financial tasks, among others. In fourth place, the Directory of Science and Technology was established to research, create and develop high-tech equipment and other equipment. Fifth, Digital Innovation Direction. Each of these directorates has subdirectors and offices in charge to carry out. The CIA, after its creation in the post-war period in September 1947, came to execute various operations in different regions of the world. In Europe, in its first operations it is known the participation through economic support and propaganda advice against communism in Italy in 1948. In another operation, the CIA recruited a former agent of Nazi Germany to serve as eyes and ears of the Americans in Europe. In addition, through his networks, he had extensive knowledge of the Soviet bloc from information collected during the war, among various other operations. In North America, despite the fact that the agency is prohibited by law from operating within its borders, during the Cold War, this law was ignored by the CIA and they developed a program together with the Canadians between 1953 and 1970 to develop together with universities, hospitals, prisons, pharmaceutical companies from the two countries drugs and medicines for mental control during interrogations and torture. In South America, Operation Condor was the most extensive operation carried out in the region during the Cold War. The governments, often military dictatorships of a large part of Latin American countries, participated directly in it in order to coordinate the death, disappearance, detention, surveillance, monitoring, or interrogation of those people considered subversive or contrary to political or ideological thought of the regimes in the region. The United States, with the CIA as its executive arm, provided financing, intelligence information, technology, manuals, and helped coordinate repressive operations to the governments of Chile during the dictatorship of Augusto Pinochet, Argentina during the Videla dictatorship, Brazil during the military dictatorship in Brazil, Paraguay during the Stroessner dictatorship, Uruguay during the civic military dictatorship of 1973 to 1985, Bolivia during the military governments from 1964 to 1982, and, to a lesser extent, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela and Ecuador. In this way, these countries unleashed, mainly between the 1970s and 1980s, a great machine of repression, especially against militants of the political and revolutionary left. Through numerous instruments such as the death squads in El Salvador, Uruguay, or Guatemala, extreme right-wing organizations that cooperated in the repression, and paramilitary and parapolice battalions created and financed by the states. These and other operations were judged by many and applauded by others. The truth is that the CIA is an agency with very large economic and operational capacities. It is present in almost the entire world, and the operations it has carried out in recent years are. If you liked the video, support us by subscribing. We are the Aegis Project.